Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Holly Jolly, Celebrating Christmas Past in Pop Culture. And this is by Mark Voger. Now, this is from Twomorrows.com. Absolutely brilliant book, as always. I love all their books. Well, there's one or two that are not so great, but this was from 2020. Should be relatively easy to get. If not, of course, they've got digital copies, which is always excellent as well. So if there's one that's out of print, you can always go and get a digital copy. Unusual looking Santa Claus there. However, what does it cover? Well, gives you a clue on the back. So it's not just comics. If you're coming this for comics, I think you might be slightly disappointed on that point. But it's still toys, comics, movies, TV, decor, etc. and music. And lots of examples. And if you love Christmas, I love Christmas. So all the things around Christmas, everything about the food, obviously all the various. Love that. All the Victorian as well. Lots and lots of fine examples. But it's very, I think solidly, in fact, US centric. So anything like British, German, French, etc. I think it's a few French words. That's about it in the whole book. You've got a nice introduction there. Well, let's just show you the contents page. That's probably going to give you a big clue about all sorts of things. You've got books there, decorations, periodicals. I love those sort of good old, you can't beat a Christmas periodical. And this one, obviously Santa Claus, well, covers DC Comics, etc. But it's also newspapers, strips, as well as magazines. I love the magazines at this time. Always great. Music, of course, classic music. Christmas radio, Christmas music, and movies. I've just come back a couple of days ago watching It's a Wonderful Life. Massive full screen, black and white, but just what a classic. But when you see it on big screen, really huge in front of you, you can really see different characters that sort of stand out, and you get a sort of like completely different idea about the show, the actual film, which is unusual. Not something when you watch TV, you sort of going in and out the house, you're doing various things and you're watching it. But it's just not, I don't think, the same as watching it on a big screen. I think it's just amazing. However, there's timeline as well. And also you've got, let's go into the book and actually show examples there. You've got some lovely music, sheet music there. Obviously, Charles Dickens, ghost stories, etc. 1843 still haunts us. I must admit, I wish that people would, when they adapt, of course, Christmas Carol, and they quite often do, Scrooge, etc. It'd be nice if they did some of the other stories as well, because there's quite a few other Christmas stories from Dickens, but they never seem to do those ones. So where often you see variations of so many times on Scrooge, every type of variation in space, Western Scrooge, whatever. There's just so many different. All the cards, etc. of the period, old times greetings. And these are Victorian cards or early post-Victorian, of a charm of their own, as they say. Absolutely glorious. Beautiful. And of course, some of these pictures quite often are reused anyway. And of course, you've got these lovely examples from the 50s and 60s. That's the ones I would grow up with. And I remember that style. I love that style. Still love that style now. So, and you've got obviously the war ones as well. Soldier Boy, as it says there. Page Turners. And, Santa is a vengeful fella. I imagine it was. So it's just, actually always look quite grumpy, sort of. It really looks sort of quite, not always so, sometimes you get these real sort of cheerful ones. But some of the early ones you see, and like on the back, you've got the picture there, doesn't look particularly like the most cheerful guy. You face that guy, I'd be running a mile. But anyway, so you've got lovely examples here, all the books. And you've also got, obviously, adverts. Lovely. I love all the adverts. You've got Christmas tree lamps. Can't beat Christmas tree lamps. Around my neighbourhood, everyone's gone completely Christmas mad. Lights everywhere. It's really good. I put loads of lights out as well, but not as many as some people. Some people have really gone. Sparkles. I mean, it's just, well, the most I've ever seen, to be honest. And you've also got various, I love these ones. Of course, you've got Wizard of, all the games, etc. The Game of Oz. Wow. Imagine that was pretty good. Christmas classics, all the various toys, many of the ones. I didn't get all of these toys. Of course, many of them American ones, so why would I? But some, obviously, I love that one. Extra Sketch was great. Play-Doh, brilliant. I love that one. A Slinky, absolutely great. I always love playing with that. And also some of these other ones, I have no idea who they are. Zorro one, Soupy Sales Game. Again, they're all obviously US, so it's, of course, we did have variations in the UK as well. I don't know, a Beatles figure one. Ringo Starr, really? Okay, I suppose so. Who knows? Festive funnies and things, you've got lots of examples of. Now, it's not a huge amount of comic book material in this. It's got some. You got Dell, etc. Schedules. You got, of course, Captain Marvel, Now, quite often they're always slightly disappointing, and not always. Sometimes they did have, and I'm surprised no one's brought out a Christmas Captain Marvel sort of Christmas special with all these old ones in. But sometimes they didn't really have that many Christmas stories in. Sometimes they have Christmas cover. You have a very Christmassy cover, and then sometimes you open the thing, and they didn't always have Christmassy stories inside, or what I thought was Christmassy stories. Now, in the UK, of course, we had all the Christmas weeklies, and even there, sometimes you get some of the Christmas weeklies, not all, but sometimes you get stories that were obviously just continuing on from all the general story, so they weren't very Christmassy. You had some stories that were Christmassy, but most were quite often not Christmassy. They might have Christmas front cover, a bit of Christmas greetings inside, and that was it. You got Christmas records as well. I must say that would be a lovely collection from Rebellion. They're doing the Treasury of British Comics, and I would love to see a collection of Christmas comics, all the Christmas stories, just in a wonderful, the best of Christmas stories. That would a theme set. They've done lots, obviously themed on particular characters, but it would be brilliant if they did a series of sort of themed on Christmas. I would definitely buy that. Anyway, Bing and Bowie, I love that song. I must admit, I love the music videos. Whenever I always put on, you can sit and watch those. I've seen them 100,000 times, but they're still great to watch. Mother King Tar, all those sort of, not really Christmassy, I know, but that's obviously associated with Christmas, like the current, obviously, Ed Sheeran and Elton John one. So you've got Christmas Carol there. You've got lots and lots of films. White Christmas, of course, brilliant. Santa Claus, I don't think I've ever watched that one. Probably, it looks dire. It looks dire. But Santa Claus Conquers, I'm saying it's brilliant. Who knows? It's one of those films that you probably think, a Christmas story. And of course now there's lots and lots of really great Christmas stories, and quite often you can turn on the TV at any time during this year, at this period, and you can just find so many great Christmas movies. But unfortunately, there's so many that I think that probably classics are never going to be created in the same way. Like my favourite is Ghost of Grenfell Lodge. Again, not particularly super Christmassy, but it's got a Christmassy, wintry sort of feel. I love that one. Talking Pictures TV. That's the best channel in the UK. And at Christmas time, they got lots of great Christmas stuff. So all these sort of things, the sort of things that maybe turn up on things like Talking Pictures TV. Sadly, they don't. BBC doesn't put that sort of thing. There's lots of shows on the BBC that, anyway, got lots and lots of examples here. And it's got lots of descriptions, of course, just really, not exactly Christmas movies. I mean, at the end of the day, you could argue It's a Wonderful Life isn't particularly Christmassy. I mean, there's bits of snow and a bits of what's name, and obviously the end bit, etc. To spoil it, I must have watched that. But I mean, at the end of the day, quite a lot of it is not particularly that much. I mean, it's in the background of the story, of course. But it's just, I love it. Just anyway. Of course, people will probably put comments below. Of course, it's Christmas, but I must admit, watching it, I was thinking to myself, well, yes, it is. Of course, it is. But it's not out and out Christmas in a way that it's all centred on a single Christmas day. That's what I meant. But however, you've got lots of, and you could argue the case on lots of these films. Of course, sometimes they might only be like a 10 minutes or 5 minutes be Christmas, and you've got here even Batman. You wouldn't associate Batman with Christmas films. The Honeymooners and all the Christmas ones. The Twilight Zone. Don't remember that one. Probably must have seen it. Twilight Zone. Bewitched, Flintstone. Of course, all these Christmas. And I think the US ones always are great. I love Christmas specials from the US. In many ways, and also the Thanksgiving ones as well, which always sort of blends in with that sort of Christmassy feel for me. It isn't, I know, but it's still that sort of Christmas period sort of time. And it's, we have quite a lot in the UK, but I think the US ones actually beat the British ones any day. People will put in comments below saying totally disagree, but that's just my opinion. I love the American ones. And you've got other things, obviously cartoons and lots of millions of. This book is just absolutely beautiful. I was really pleased I got a copy of this because it's just, actually I just noticed, Milton Kenneth, I was just looking at the artwork. Lovely lots of artwork there. If you love Christmas, you've got sort of collection of Christmas books. I've got lots of Christmas books, love Christmas books. This you have to have. This is a must have. You've got to have this part of your collection. It's just brilliant. You guys say might disagree in terms of the comments, and that obviously because it's not really British or German or French or anything mentioned like or Japanese or whatever, or loads of different cultures that have obviously gone Christmas mad. You got Holly Jolly. It's just great, celebrating Christmas past in pop culture, and that's probably the clue actually, pop culture. So it's very much US, but it's brilliant. I loved it. Makes me feel very Christmassy just picking this up, and I'm certain I will pick this up every time, every December, and we'll flick through it and think, oh, I must go and watch this or that film or put that music on or whatever, because that's the one good thing with certain device that I won't mention, otherwise it starts up, the Amazon device, don't start up, and ask for obviously any music and that. So Holly Jolly, celebrating Christmas from Twomorrows.com. Brilliant. Happy Christmas.